Hari Om to one and all. A very, very good morning. I pray that all are well and mentally prepared for today's session. As we all know, today's session is the last session in a series of three major seasons, as we can call it. So this will be the end of the first season, whereby the book that we are trying to study, Tattva Bodh, which is a Prakarana Grantha, a basic text of Vedanta. This text has been written down by the great Sri Adi Shankaracharya himself. And the explanation that I was rendering, or I was trying to render, is from a combination of my Guruji's translation of this book, the explanation that he has given, and when we were studying as students in the Chinmaya mission, Sandipini Sadhanalaya, then our immediate Acharya, Swami Advayanandji, he had given. So it's a combination of these explanations and a little bit of what I have understood. We have concluded the first aspect of this book, which is called the Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna Adhikari, meaning a student who is fit for studying this knowledge and who is endowed with the fourfold qualifications. All these 13 sessions that we had till last Saturday, we have been speaking about these four aspects, and within the four, the third aspect, which has 6 inner wealth. So in all we can say 9, 10 qualities that a student, an aspirant who wishes to know the truth which lies behind, one, him, herself, who am I? Second, the world around us. And third, that factor which we call God, that phenomena which we call the energy or the consciousness, which has interwoven in us as well as the world. So, the interrelationship between us, the world, and that Ishwar. We call him God, we call him energy, with whatever name one may call him or her or it. To understand these three facts, Tattva Bodh was brought into place. In the concluding session, last session, I will give you a very brief understanding of the last Sadhana Chatushtaya, which was Mumukshu. And this is what we had actually begun with in the beginning. The first session, we had spoken about the nature of the world is impermanent. And what is the desire of all people, every person, is to have something permanent, whether it be permanent work, permanent house, permanent family. Permanency is what we desired. In other words, we wanted to have something which never ends. This was the query. And then it was explained that if everything is changing in the world, means everything starts and ends. Obviously, that means everything that has a start necessarily has an end. So that cannot be permanent. Then what is that? Then it was said that truth is that which is permanent. So we must try to pursue what is truth. And we had said, yes, mumukshutvam is that burning desire to know the truth. And amongst you all, many had said, yeah, we wish that and we want that, we want to know. And therefore this entire series of sessions started that, since you wish to know the truth, you must know what are the requirements of truth. Just like knowing some subject, if you want to do a PhD in some subject, you have to know the basics. You cannot just start doing a PhD. Not anybody can do PhD of any particular subject not having the basic knowledge of that. And this is what we had started with. That to know the truth, you have to be mumukshu. And what it takes to be mumukshu is all this. So once again today, I am just going to speak about mumukshutvam. What is the state of mumukshu or mumukshutvam? Mokshum ichchuhu iti mumukshu. One desirous of moksha, liberation. In other words, to know the truth is called mumukshutvam or mumukshu. Mumukshutvam, the word means one who has this feeling completely in that person. And mumukshu means a person with that feeling. That's all the difference. Beg your pardon. What is the state of mumukshu? One fired with the passion for liberation, to know the truth. Mokshu me bhuyat iti ichcha. With this desire that may I be liberated. Only one with this desire will that rocket fly away from the G of the earth. The spirit is strong and the flesh has given up all the cravings and attachments to this world and the objects and the beings of this world. Then nothing can hold such a person back. In fact, the whole world, in a way, comes together and let go such a person who has unattached or detached itself from all the things. But there is a hurdle in the middle. When you are listening to these talks, when you are reflecting on these talks, you may get such a feeling. Because in the beginning itself it was said that you have that query and you accept it. Yes, we want to know. We want to know the truth. That means that feeling is there. But there is a barrier there. That barrier is called complacency. Complacency is the enemy of progress. A sense of, it's okay, I studied last Saturday, it's enough. We'll see, next Saturday we'll talk about it. Why? What are we talking about? We say that the truth is hidden from us because we are bound. We have bondage. And as we know, a happy slave who is bound, but he is happy, is the worst enemy of freedom. Therefore, one may not be aware sometimes that one is bound. Therefore, first knowing that you are bound is necessary. Then, past knowing of your bondage, one must want to free himself or herself. Not that just say, it's okay if I am bound. What is the problem? I am happy. About being happy, there is a beautiful comparison by somebody. I don't know who has done this. There's a comparison between the people who go to office and the people who are in prison. It's a comparison not by me, by somebody. You'll just listen to it and then you'll think. It says, in the prison, You have a dedicated room to yourself. But in the office, you have a small little cubicle, or worse, you have a table and a computer. In the prison, you have absolute privacy. Nobody is bothered about you, nobody bothers you. But in office, where is the privacy? In the prison, you are allowed to even see TV and entertain yourself. In fact, it becomes your right. In the office, you are not allowed to do any of such thing. In fact, you are reprimanded. In the prison, you don't have to pay anything for your breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's all free of cost. But in the office, either you have to pay it personally or it is deducted from your salary. Last but very important, now this everyone will understand. In the prison, there is no stress of completing any task in time. Why? Because you have all the time in the world over there. If you don't finish it tomorrow, if not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. But in the office, everything has a deadline and you are consistently stressed. In this way, prison and office was compared. And then after comparing, they put a final question. What is the final question? Now you decide that what is better, prison or office? Think. Our minds, sometimes to the mind, prison looks better. They are more enticing. If you all remember, in the last session, we had given the example of King Prahlada when God himself appeared and said, you should come with me now. He said, no, but I would like to take my subjects also. And when the subjects were told about it, that you have to come, what had happened? Even if you are offered freedom, you won't appreciate it until you have understood the limitation, the pain of bondage. Forget humans. Even the pigs are happy in the ditch, in the filth, because they are happy and they are happy being there. Because they don't have, there's no problem for them. So, one wonders, what is this feeling of bondage? What is the feeling of bondage? How does it feel to be bound? A deep dissatisfaction with the things around you is constantly looming in your heart. As such, you are okay, everything is hunky-dory, so to speak, but you are not happy in anything for more than few seconds, because there is something else that you wish for, or you desire something different, something of a different genre. Genre is a French word which means it's a different thing altogether. It's in the music, it comes that not of this type but of a different category altogether. So that genre, a complete different kind. But what is it? What is that which made the great Mahavir, the great Buddha, and a Norain? Swami Vivekananda's name before he became Swami was Norain. What makes these great people leave everything else and everyone else and go into the search of that truth? A deep-rooted dissatisfaction, a wish to know the truth, a burning desire to be liberated from the tyranny of this mind. Yes, we are under the tyranny of the mind. The mind says do this, we run behind it. Mind says no, it's not nice, we run behind that. Then the mind says no, not this, not that. Oh, that one, oh, not that. And we are completely tormented because of the mind. However, is there anybody out there with such a feeling in today's days and time? There are people like this. You can't say people like this are not there. There are. I'll give you a very short story. It is from the traditions of the Vedanta and it is a tough story. But there are people like this. There was this Vedantic teacher, master. He had a beautiful ashram and he had that in him where people would naturally get attracted. And his fame went in all four directions. He had many brahmacharis. Brahmachari is a word who is a celibate student who studies in an ashram. His focus is purely to gain this knowledge and move into spirituality. The princess of that state, of that kingdom, got so attracted towards the knowledge because she heard the master speaking many a times. And one day, lo, she reached the master's ashram, fell at the feet of the master and said, "Oh master, please accept me as your student and I would like to know the knowledge of Brahma Vidya, the truth behind all." The master very lovingly, gently spoke to her, said, "Oh my dear princess, unfortunately I cannot accept you as my student." And to the surprise of everyone and herself, she said, "But master, what's my fault?" The master said, "You know what, my dear child? You are the daughter of the king. You are the second most famous person in this entire kingdom. I can't accept you. You're too famous to be a recluse." She said, "Oh, I understand." She bowed and she went away. In a few months' time, a word was spread around that, oh, the princess was very unwell and she passed away and everything is over and everything. And this story went on for a year. And one day the same princess, not as a princess but as a very normal person, she came to the master. She was not dead. She had just started this rumor that she is passed away, she is gone away, because she wanted to know this knowledge. And there sitting in front of the master, she said, "Oh master, I have come back and now I am not famous anymore. Nobody knows. I am nobody. Please accept me now." The master looked at her and said, "Oh my dear child, I understand that you really wish to know this, but I still can't accept you." She said, "What? Why? Why now? Now I am not known. I am nobody." She said, "Yes." He said, "Yes, you are nobody. But look at yourself. You are so gorgeous and beautiful. The moment you came here, all eyes just turned towards you. And these are the highest level of brahmacharis that we are talking about. When they are unable to keep their minds away from your beauty, what will happen to anybody else and what will happen to the brahmacharis? Their minds will get disturbed. So please, I can't accept you." She said, "Oh." She bowed. Humbly, she left. Can you believe what she did last? She came back after a few days, her face disfigured. She bowed to the master and said, "Oh master, now nobody looks at me. Please accept me now." What can you say to such a person? What kind of burning desire she must be having? Such kind of people with the burning desire for liberation, who will not stop until they achieve the knowledge, and wanting nothing else than that and that alone, who have burnt away their boats and are now ready to move forward. They don't say, if not this, then the backup plan is that. No backup plan. Clear in their focus. To such a person, how can God not come to help? Therefore, to person who has such a passion for the truth alone, God sends a master. To he, she, or whoever the person is, God sends a master. Therefore, in the Shastra, it has been said, and I said this last time, I'll repeat it again. Okay, there are three things which are the rarest of the rare to have. One, to be born as a human. It is rare. Millions and millions and millions of species are there, and their numbers are in trillions. But human beings are only one of its kind. And our numbers are easily counted on hand. We are the endangered species in a way. It is rare to be humans. Second, to have this desire to know the truth and to liberate oneself. And the third, to find a guru. Noble and complete, a competent guru to guide you through and give you the ultimate knowledge. Why is it rare to have this inclination? Because we don't have that kind of desire to know the truth. We are still not what they call as Mumukshu. But if one is just not aware of such a thing, if one is not aware only, most of the people in the world, how many amongst you were aware of such a thing before the first and the second talk? Even if you were aware, how many of you had actually thought about it in this way, the way Shastra wants you to look at it? Rare. Imagine, if one is not aware of such a concept called freedom from the bondage, how can one even imagine to be known or to know what is bondage? The information has to be made very clear. Therefore, the cause for mumukshutvam is satsanga, or also known as sadhu sangha. The cause for mumukshutvam. In the company of these learned masters, we come to know that we are bound, and also that there is available a different kind of life, free from bondage, an inspired life, not just happy, but living in bliss. When we see them live a life so relaxed and carefree, a thought arises in us. First the thought comes, and then the desire comes that may I also achieve this. That desire is called mumukshutvam. The desire, may I too be liberated. The deep abyss in our hearts can be filled with something pure, noble and holy, with peace that is beyond understanding of the mind, which is not in the realm of the intellect. Intellect means what which is known, something that which we don't know about. It's not a joy that comes and goes, which is not in the ambit of my thinking, means it's not perishable, means not permanent. In fact, not impermanent. It is something which is always continuous. It is permanent, continuous state of bliss, and bliss alone. Therefore, to be in the company of these wise men called sadhu or a guru, we gain mumukshutvam. This brings to us that yes, we must have some idea about who are these gurus or what are their lakshana, means their qualifications. Guru will find you, but you should be also able to use your intellect. Remember, viveka. You've got to use viveka every single place. If Shastra tells you to use viveka between permanent and impermanent, It will tell you that use Viveka between a fraud and a master. But to have Viveka, we must have knowledge. Remember, you only know that you are bound by Shastra. You don't feel it yet. It is an information given to you. It depends on your Viveka to verify. This is what Shastra is saying. Let me compare. Is this what it is? Oh, really? I do feel like that. Yeah, I am running behind everything my mind is saying. I'm attached to this, I'm attached to that, I'm attached to the smallest thing. If I'm so attached to these little things, how can I ever imagine to be free? Where is the free will? You have to test it yourself. But first, that information had to be there, and that has been given. In the same way, the qualifications of the Guru. We are not going to test the Guru. We are just knowing that these are the great qualities that the Guru has. Before I start into the qualifications of Guru, I'll share a joke with you. A person comes to a master and he says, Hari Om, Master. Master says, Hari Om. Master, I would like to know what are the qualifications of a good student. He says, okay. A good student who stays in the ashram has to know this, has to know that, he has to study this, he has to wake up at 4 o'clock, he has to take a bath, and then he has to do the prayers. After doing prayers, he has to take a broom and he has to clean the whole ashram. After cleaning the ashram, he has to wash his hands and then make some tea, coffee, some breakfast for the other students and the Guru and everything. And then in the night, he has to come and press the Guru's leg. And then once the Guru is gone to sleep, he should go take a bath. And then, he says, Master, please tell me that knowledge which will make me a master. So he didn't want to be a student anymore. He wanted to become a master. Jokes apart. Coming back to Guru Lakshana. The first thing that a Guru must have is he should be a Kshotriya. Kshotriya means knower of the scripture. Well versed in Vedanta Shastra. Because it is the means of liberation. Vedanta Shastra is that knowledge by which we liberate ourselves. So he has to be Kshotriya. If you all are wishing to write it down, it will be a good idea. If not, that's fine. The second, he has to be a Brahmanishta. Kshotriya means a person who has the knowledge of Brahman, of the truth. Brahmanishta means he has to be established. One who has understood as well as is abiding in the truth. Just knowing the truth is not enough. You have to abide in that truth. That is called Brahmanishta. No doubt about Brahman. There should be not an iota of doubt that the truth is and has the right knowledge. Means the Viveka, Vairagya, Sharasampatti, Mumukshutvam is perfect. Third, Akamahatasya. One who is not hit by any worldly desires. Remember, there are 3 things that we all are always attracted towards. Some in more degrees, some in less degrees. But these 3 are the main attraction towards the world. 1, Kamini. The attraction towards the opposite sex. Second, Kanchana, meaning that I should be wealthy. Wealthy does not means that you should be the richest man of the world. Not everyone can be richest man of the world. Only one person can be the richest. But the others who look at him and they also want those riches are in millions. If we have one computer, we want a better computer. And how to get a better computer? By having more wealth. You are attracted towards wealth of the world. And third, Kirti. After achieving those things which are basic in life, one wants to be known. People should know me. I'm also somebody. Isn't it? These are the 3 biggest lures that attract us and bind us to the world. And a real master is not in them. He is beyond them. The fourth, the master has to be dayalu. Dayalu means compassionate. Compassion is that quality which defines humans as humans. Only a compassionate guru comes from the root. The guru word comes from that root G. It is a root of Sanskrit. It comes from that. Means upon which you can depend. One who swallows all negativities, who absorbs everything. A guru is a person who will keep answering the same question of yours. Not once, not twice, but as many times you ask. Unlike the professor in the school or the college will not tell you the second time, why don't you refer to the textbook? He will not say that. He will give an answer. His answer may not be in the same way again and again. He may give answers in different ways. But he will always answer because he is dayalu, he is compassionate. He has to be deshika, means one who shows the path. That path which leads you to the truth. In the world you will meet many people. Brilliant people in their particular field. The top of their field. And when you approach to them and tell or request them, could you kindly tell me the path to this success? If the path is this side, they will say, you know what, you have to go there. And you keep going and finally you will reach the goal. Why? The world is round. Because they are not having that feeling of showing the right path to everyone. But a master who has reached there, he wants not only him to be there, but he wants everyone who comes there to be there. He has to be a very fantastic speaker, a vakta. A vakta is a person who speaks, but he has to be an extraordinary speaker. Why? One who can answer the questions of the student. Sometimes a teacher is very bright, but is unable to express what the mind is thinking. Therefore, in our Shastra, one of the Shanti mantras says this, Vang me manasi pratishtita, mano me vachi pratishtitam, meaning that may my speech say what my mind has, and may my mind express itself through my speech. Means what? A perfect coordination between the thoughts and speech. Speech is just one example. Thoughts and the entire action of the body. He is an excellent Vakta and has only one desire in his heart, the last, the eighth. Only one desire. What is that desire? May many students come to me who are virakta. Virakta means endowed with the dispassion, who are aware that they are bound. Why does he have this bond? Why does he have this desire of many? Because he wants to become very famous. There's so many students. I have these many students and I have these many. No. So that he could help them to know this knowledge. He waits for these students who have virakta, who have understood this, that there is something more to life than just these things that we look. He looks forward for these students in many. His only wish is now to impart this knowledge. These are the qualification or the qualities of a master that you should have in your heart. When someone meets you or you meet some person with such knowledge, not that you test them, But you should have some idea so that you can use Viveka. This is the reason I felt that this aspect should be introduced to all our students here. Although this is not a part of Tattva Bodha. This was something which I felt that you all should know. Because I don't know how many of you have experience of different teachers and others, and that you should not mistake me for a master. I am only a representative, a student of the master sitting there. So that you understand that to have a master is the key aspect to learn this knowledge. Because this is not one of those knowledges from the world which we can just understand by reading a book. Yes, in the world you will find some examples, few examples, who may have had no personal guru immediately. That is because in the past life they have completed the study and only a little bit what is left they completed here. We have such examples in our Shastra itself. So if you are one of them, it's great, but that has to come from within. That has to come from within. If not, like many of us, know this knowledge and study. And the example has already been given. What is the best way of knowing? What is the best way of finding? Is Sat Sangha. Be in the company means either listen to these kind of talks or attend these kind of talks or be in the company of this kind of people. Let your mind not just listen to it once a week for half an hour, 45 minutes, and then once again get lost in the world. So, while you ask me questions today, I had also said I will be asking you a few questions. So let me first ask you that question. Don't answer immediately if you cannot understand or if you cannot think of it immediately. Answer to me after you all have asked me your questions. My question is very simple. What is the cause, the root cause of sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari? May I repeat? The fourfold qualifications to gain. What is the cause, the root cause of sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari? My daughter says she is not able to understand the question, so maybe I put it again. Viveka. If you go back to the talks, you will remember, you will come to remember that, or you might remember. I said the cause of Viveka, why Viveka happens to us, is because of Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata. Remember these words? Chitta Shuddhi, purity of mind. Chitta Ekagrata, focus of your desire or focus of your knowledge. Then what happens is when these two things are there in you, then only Viveka comes. Why not everyone has this discriminatory thought about this knowledge? Otherwise, we use discrimination all the time. So the cause of Viveka was this. I give you one more thing. I'd also explain to you the cause of Vairagya, the second fold. The cause of Vairagya was that this entire world is so temporary. I don't want this temporary. A natural aversion to these things, or in other words, dosha drishti, fault finding attitude. And I had given you example. Okay, don't consider fault finding attitude as negative. To improve anything, we have to find faults. When we write our first draft, then we look at it again and we look at the faults. This is wrong. This is wrong. Oh, this can be correct. Then we write the second draft. Why we do that? So that it improves. So that kind of look out for the world. Don't just blindly follow everything is nice, everything is hunky-dory. Fault finding. Now you understood? Kavita, you get it? In that sense, what is the root cause or the cause of the whole sadhana chatushtaya of Viveka, Vairagya, Shadasampatti, the whole six together, and Mumukshu together. It's not that something I'm asking which I've not told you before. But let's think about it and then you can talk. Now,